Hello everyone, welcome back to the Virtues to Happiness series. Today's chapter 16 on poverty and detachment. People are very conscious of their health, wealth, and social status. On the other hand, very few people stop to consider if they're detached from the things they own or consider how often they splurge. If you think about it, some rich people feel as if they could have more, and ironically, some poor people do not complain about their condition. People may think that the poor are already living the virtue of poverty because they already lack material goods. But does lacking material things equate to living the virtue of poverty? Does this virtue imply wearing cheap clothing and buying from thrift shops? Does detachment mean getting by with the bare necessities? The virtue of poverty consists in using the resources and material goods that we have in our possession with moderation and for the benefit of the others. All virtues are not dependent on the physical external realities, but come from the heart of each person. You may have heard the phrase that some people who are rich are actually really poor and vice versa. For example, a wealthy person may have a lot of money, but may wisely allocate their resources for the betterment of society, and knows how to live generously and with self-control. On the other hand, a person who is poor may be very much attached to the few things that the person has and act selfishly by not thinking about serving the others. Why live the virtue of poverty anyway? What if I am happy eating whatever I want, whenever I want, and traveling to wherever in the world that I choose, and to have the freedom to simply do as I please? First of all, there must be a distinction made between pleasure and happiness. Also, there's a difference between pain and suffering. Without getting into semantics, I'd like to venture to say that pleasure is a bodily satisfaction, whereas happiness is a spiritual joy. Pain, on the other hand, is a physical discomfort, while suffering is a spiritual discomfort. I would argue that the person who uses their goods and resources to whatever they feel like may feel pleasure, but may suffer because their emotions are not in accord with their true purpose and meaning in life. Whereas someone who lives the virtue of poverty may feel the pain of self-denial, but will feel the joy or happiness in the long run for having directed oneself along the path of virtue. It is quite paradoxical, but the more we are detached from the things of this world and know how to use them for the good of yourself and the others, the freer you will be. When someone says, I can't resist watching my favorite TV show, eating ice cream, or even checking my emails for the umpteenth time, is basically saying that these things are controlling their life. The difference is that the person who lives the virtue of poverty sees material things as means, whereas the person who is attached to them sees material things as ends in themselves. What are some signs that I'm living the virtue of poverty? Number one, to not see things as one's own, but to recognize the true use and purpose behind each thing or resource. Number two, not complaining even when I lack what may be necessary. Number three, not buying things that are superfluous or unnecessary. Number four, taking good care of the material things you own so that you can get the most out of them. No one is happy unless they deny themselves for the right intentions. Although one's personal circumstances and state in life may vary, everyone could live the virtue of poverty. Like any virtue, whether old or young, rich or poor, single or married, everyone can and should live the virtues of poverty and detachment. Thank you.